Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Off the Rails podcast. It's me alone in here. I'm not sure what do we have coming in the room. Look at Mr. Mobile here. He's moving
I'm walking,
and dancing.
baby. I'm walking.
That's nuts. He's got real pants on too. Is that a toe?
That is, I can move it.
Is that a sock or a toe?
It's a sock.
Okay, I was like, you need to either wash that toe or those are awful brown. Why are they so brown?
That is a Duluth Trading Company sock, which is, by the way, very, very luxurious.
I bet. Everything Duluth is nice.
Get you some.
Well, I guess we should introduce ourselves because you know what we didn't do last week?
Uh-oh.
We never said who we were.
Look, read the description.
Yeah. Big Gump?
No, I mean, when you're listening, if we don't introduce ourselves, you just read the description.
Oh, well, it does pop our names up on the screen at some point in time.
There you go.
Anyway, I am Travis, and that there limpy guy, he be
Mitch.
And we make up the Stile Boyz. Welcome back, season 2. I know we picked up a few new listeners, I think, last week.
I think we did.
We posted it. Boy, that was a lot of work getting a post in the cabinet page. I mean, you'd think that they would, you would think we were trying to sell them, gold bullion or something. I don't know, but.
So did they like suspend it and then let it go again, or?
He kicked it out, and it was like rule violation of like self-promotion or whatever. So that's why I just reworded it. It's like, anybody know any good podcasts to listen to while you work? And then just put ours in the comments.
Yeah, because you were like, check the comments or something.
Yeah. It was a weird workaround, but it was a workaround nonetheless. It's my eye red.
It's about the same color as licorice.
Well, I just got smacked in the eye with a Twizzler right before we hit record, so.
I've been saying since we've been in high school, if you two could have a camera just follow you around, it would be so funny, man.
Well, the sensor guy would be busy. Lots of beeping. For me, not so much for Kim, but for me. I mean, I think the whole meal was just the F and the D word. Just just the entire time. I mean, we ate in like 15 minutes. Like, I walked in, took a shower, come in, and she's like, I got it ready. Are we used to record at 7? I was like, yeah, I'm still recording. She's like, oh my God. We had planned on going out, and I was like, I can't do it. I gotta stay at the shop a little bit longer. We'll fill you in on that. But anyway, it was good to see you up and mobile, man. Like, that's big news.
Actually, the day after the last podcast, I went to go caulk a bunch more trim and door trim and window trim over at the house, and I couldn't really do it with my crutches, trying to bend down the caulk. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna put this foot down and just kind of try to balance, because I was trying to help Tammy, and I ain't a whole lot of help out there. And anyway, 10-15 minutes goes by, dude, and I'm like, I'm standing on it, And then I just kind of took a little baby step and a little baby step, and next thing you know, I'm walking around the house, and I am just hollering. Dude, I'm so excited. Been 2 weeks. That's
crazy.
Crutches, wheelchair, just totally immobile.
Well, because that night we recorded, your words were, buddy, because I just listened to it. You're like, pain, I got as much as you want. Like,
Yep. And the next day, now she, Tammy dabbles a little bit in the old snake oils.
Oh, she make you some magic brownies or little?
No, not that kind of snake oil.
Not that kind of snake oil. Okay.
She dabbles in essential oils. And so she said, look at your foot. It's swollen and it's really sore. I mean, it was swollen, dude. My toes look like sausages. You know what I'm saying? And so she goes, let me put a little oil on it. And I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever. And she rubbed, it was frankincense. She put frankincense on it. And the next day, the swelling was like...
time of the season for frankincense, but...
Yeah. Next day, the swelling was almost all the way gone. The tenderness and the soreness was gone out of it. And I could, like I said, I could walk. But I was using my crutches as a crutch, so to speak. And I thought I had to have them, but turns out I didn't. I could just walk. Now, Wednesday, So a few days ago, Wednesday, they told me to take the top wedge off. So get a boot. A week later, they said take a wedge off. So I did, and what that does, my heel is up, right? So it just kind of is flexing my Achilles a little bit as we remove the wedges. And that was like a couple steps back, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so the wedge keeps the Achilles looser. It's designed to keep it looser and then slowly put tension on it as you take them out.
That's right. Yeah, because it's like this, you know.
Yeah.
And then as we take wedges out, it's slowly stretching out that Achilles in the back.
Did they have to detach the Achilles, or did they just? Do you know? Like, did it like have to be detached as part of the process, or was it just good and he just reinforced it?
No, he had to detach part of it to clean out behind it.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, and it's, you know, not to get doctor on you, but a tendon don't have a lot of blood flow, right? So it takes a long time for tendons to heal. And your Achilles is the biggest tendon. It's the longest tendon. It's under the most stress. So, you know, it's like the worst tendon you could have to work on. But anyway, yeah, it's going good. Still no pain at the surgery.
That's crazy.
Like, I can feel it pull, you know, like a little bit every now and then. Like if I try to put too much weight on my toes or something, it'll lift my heel. But the boot takes care of all that pretty much. So it's going really good. I'm excited to go back and, you know, see what they're going to tell me in another week and a half. We'll see what the next phase is.
You're making some good progress.
Yeah, actually helped on the install the other day, and I felt, you know, not trying to brag, but.
Well, I was just fixing to say, you've been posting here lately, so tell me about what's been going on. Like, I mean, you
Well, first of all,
I know, here comes the words, hat tip Trey.
Hat tip Trey.
He's killing it. He's doing a good job.
He really is. And I know Trey listens to the podcast. Like, I'll go an hour, 2 hours after I notice the podcast has released. And I'm like, hey, dude, podcast is up. And he's like, then listen to it.
I'm done.
So I know he'll hear it. But so I'm not saying this, you know, just simply for his benefit. I'm just letting everybody know. He sent me a text. And so we did two, you know, small jobs. One was two vanities. One was a vanity and a linen. They've been built, you know, over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not something we just did overnight, you know. But I told him, I said, you know, get after it, kill it, do it. And he cut everything out. He assembled everything. He built the doors from scratch. I mean, I think he did some of the finishing, and I think Tammy and I did some of the finishing. But him and Thomas just installed the 2 stain vanities all on their lonesome. Like, I wasn't there, you know, and he sent me a text, and he goes, I just realized something. That's the first time I've ever started and completed a project all the way start to finish, you know, on my own.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you did the other one too. You know, that painted vanity with 800,000 drawers in it and the linen. So he did both of those.
Had a ton of drawers.
It did, yeah. And we're going to talk about her a little bit later on. But anyway, so yeah, he did it, and I think he needed that. I think that did him a lot of good. You know, because he's one of these. Right, because, you know, he's like me. He doesn't want to mess something up. And sometimes that can kind of hold you back a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And so him just diving in and not really having a choice.
Tell him to come over here and work with me for a week. I can show him how to mess stuff up like 3 or 4 times a day. I mean, Jiminy Christ, I lost 2 tape measures today in a rage of anger for messing up stuff. So, I mean, thank God. That's why fast cap tape measures are so cheap. Because you can launch it.
Yeah,
not feel bad about it.
Was it the tape measure's fault, Travis?
No, it had nothing to do with the tape measure. It was just in my hand when the things went bad.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was it. We installed. I helped him install the second one because, you know, it was a little. I could, you know, I could walk pretty comfortably. So anyway, we went over there and installed those 2 and got everything done. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, we cut out 2 jobs worth of plywood. Charlie came. His daughter he's doing. My tongue is messing up on me. Y'all excuse me. We're building cabinets for Charlie's daughter.
He's got that oil on his tongue.
Charlie's daughter's building a house, and I told him, I said, the only way I can do it is if you help me. So Charlie's been over here cutting plywood out and cutting things and telling me how I'm doing everything wrong, and that's not how I did it. And I used to put my lumber over here on this table and then take it from this table to the rack. And I said, well, go ahead, Charlie. Move the bandsaw out of the way, move the router table out of the way, move all this stuff out of the way, and you can do that. And he goes, well, I didn't have all that stuff when I did it. And I said, well, that might be why we don't do it that way anymore. What do you think? And so anyway, but yeah, he's working on that. Trey cut out an entire job in one day. Probably, I don't know, 30, 40 sheets, something like that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to have one of those installed here over the next few days. And one thing about it is when I'm in the office a little bit, because I can stand up and walk for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I do kind of have to sit down and get some weight off the other leg. Yeah, but I can make sure I got everything ordered. You know, I mean, heck, we got doors sitting back here for these jobs. We got stuff coming in the mail for them. I mean, I'm like, wow, when I'm not out there just constantly running and thinking and calling and texting and, so that's working out good.
Well, I think you're getting a good lesson in, hold on.
He had to sneeze. Oh, there's number 2.
That'll be good on video for everybody watching YouTube. I don't know how I'm gonna edit that out, but oh my goodness, that snuck up on me. But I think you're getting a good mandatory lesson in like delegation, like because you're not one to. I know you don't like it, but you're not one to. I know, but you're not one to sit on the side and have people. But you're forced to right now. But I think that it should be a great confidence booster for you too, because you're seeing what they can do without you, and then you're getting to see kind of like that long conversation we had, right at the end of season 1, where we're talking about, that what can you unload on Trey so that you can do the other things and make it a better rounded thing. And I think you're kind of seeing some of those benefits through some unfortunate circumstances, but I think it might be a good new way for you guys. I mean, obviously you won't be this separated from the process, all the way through, but it's a good way to know that, hey, I know that for a day I can go in there and order everything for this job, and he can start on, something, and he's good,
Yeah.
And I can get everything ordered today.
And the other thing is, it broke up any kind of monotony that he might have been seeing. You know what I mean? Because we can get caught up into, well, I do this and you do this.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way it is. And now he's experienced what it's like to run 30, 40 sheets across the table saw, and he's experiencing loading up the trailer and doing installs by himself. And so, it's good to do stuff like that too, and just kind of
because he may be looking at
just doing
he could look at it and be like, wow, it's just running stuff across the table. So how long? I mean, how tiring can that really be? And then you run it and you're like, okay, that I got you now. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Like I understand. Or you see somebody do a process and you hear them talking about it, which is just, it's never the same as doing that process, you know? And then you do it and you're like, oh, now I understand why he's so slow at it, or he's so meticulous about these steps, or, whatever it is, it's just, it's just way different. And as far as the monotony goes, it'd be really good for you guys moving forward, because you can be like, hey, this job, you want to cut this job, and I'll catch, I mean, and the next job, I'll
you hear
cut
that, Trey?
You catch, I mean, but you're not stuck in those roles,
Right. Exactly.
You kind of break that mold a little bit. Maybe, I mean, you got that fancy dancy, workman's comp loving saw, so might as well let somebody run it.
And buddy, it is a Cadillac, man. I'm telling you, I love that saw. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah.
Speaking of saws, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you act like,
we'll get there. Hold on, we'll get there. I mean, I like my Grizzly saw. I like my Grizzly.
I still run it.
It ain't been a good week. I'm just gonna say it. It just ain't been a good week. It's just been one of them weeks where I questioned everything in life, including whether I should change careers or not. I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like I in my headspace, I'm already on the remodel. Like I'm trying to get there so I can get back, because I feel like so much of life is on, dadgummit already. I feel like so much of life is on hold right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I just need to get this done so I can get back. And man, so I have a very long diatribe that I want to get into with you, but all in all, got the build done, and still building some of it, because some of it was wrong. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what I did. I reviewed my notes, and it clearly says that wall is 21 or is 2 foot 1 inches. That's all the room I got, which I think, if my math is correct, that's 25 inches, right?
That is correct.
It's 25 inches. So a 35-inch cabinet, it will not fit there without, 10 inches of it hanging over a window, which most people don't like that design.
Just cut the wall out.
I'm just saying, they just don't like it overlapping their window sills. It's weird. So I don't know what I did. I just wanted to cry. So I got 2 cabinets I had to rebuild, then had to make some adjustments for the window bench to kind of fill that in, because I wasn't going to rebuild that whole bench. But and then the one cabinet I set up there, and so so this cabinet was entirely built. So it's just I call them bookcases. Mm-hmm. So it's just a unit. It just sits on top of a countertop. Various, but it's just another piece, and it sits on top of the countertop. These are all MDF, and what's funny is so I'm in the building process of this thing, right? And I got the box built, and I make the face frame, and I go to overlay the face frame, and it doesn't line up. I'm like, that's weird. What in the world did I do? I didn't think anything about it. I undid the face frame, and then I just used the shelves, and I marked on the stile where it should line up, reattached it, popped it on, moved on. Said, well, I must have grabbed, I don't know what I did. I was using spacers too, and that was what was really frustrating. I quit using tape measures on stuff like that. I used to tape measure in between each one, and I quit doing that. Just go get a stick, just make a spacer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, on to this is just a segment out of a very long story, but and then get to the house, and I set this thing up on top of the desk that it goes on top of, and I back up and I go, it's crooked. And sure enough, the middle shelf, I got cattywampus somehow, and then I made the frame cattywampus to it. Mm-hmm. And it threw off that, so that automatically threw off the next shelf. I don't know how I did that, but I mean, boy, you put a marble on there and it's going straight downhill.
Yeah.
But it happens,
It does. I've been there, and I'm telling you, you're there, and that's the worst part about it, is you're in their house.
Yeah.
When you discover it, you know, and it's just like you just want to just load the truck up and drive it in the ditch and walk home.
Well, and for this job, which I guess we can kind of hit on this, the most frustrating part about this job is that I was already frustrated when I got there because she wasn't ready for the install. Now, we measured this job probably a month ago, if not a little bit longer, and in that consult, we talked about moving the electrical outlets, because we basically built like a built-in dresser, a window bench, another built-in dresser, and then it wrapped another wall to a desk, right? Mm-hmm. Well, she's like, well, I don't want to lose all these outlets. She's going to want, a lamp on that wall, and then she's going to want to be able to plug up stuff for her desk. I was like, absolutely. So you're going to want to pull these up. And I gave her heights to pull them up to. I said, I'll pull them through the bookcase, part, but you can't have an outlet in a drawer bank. Like it
right.
doesn't really work,
Not very useful.
And then show up, and she, sure enough, she goes, "Yeah, those outlets. What are we gonna do? Because I forgot. I didn't get them moved." And I was like, "Well, we can not put the cabinets in, or I can bury them. That's pretty much the two options." Like, she's like, "Really?" I was like, "No. I tell you what I'll do. I'll pull them through the back of the drawer box, and then your electrician can, tunnel down to it and make that a junction box and then pull one up through the back of the cabinet. But I'm not moving electrical." I mean, it was just already kind of frustrating. And then one of the outlets for the desk, the outlet landed square on the desk support. Like, it just kind of had this fake leg for a left-hand support, and the outlet was dead smack on it. So I couldn't install the desk. So the desk is just sitting there. So that's got to go, Monday. But so it was already kind of a really frustrating type kind of thing, I mean, because it's just, you do everything to be prepped, right? And you do everything to, to make it go smooth. And then there's no avoiding that, and I tried to let it go pretty quick because there's nothing I can do. It is what it is. Let's just move on. But it's just like, man, this is not something we didn't discuss. I think that's what got me the most was that, we had, I mean, like, I don't have that book with me, that notebook. But like we put electrical notes in there, and I sent her an electrician's contact. Like, she's like, "Oh, I don't really have anybody." So I sent her an electrician's contact. So, I mean, it was not like something that I forgot to cover in the consult. Like, cause I've had that happen before where we didn't discuss the outlets, and then I got to work around it, and I go, "Well, that was my fault. I should have talked about it." But anyway,
it's just one of those things, and like we've talked about it before. Some of those jobs are like that, man. It's like every single thing is just wrong,
Yeah.
And that's the job you're going to screw something up on, or use the wrong spacer, or not think about this tiny little thing, and it's gonna just, it just snowballs into just a horrible situation. And some jobs there's like none of that. There's nothing. It just all goes in, and like when I went, we put that linen and that vanity in. You know how many wedges we used? 0.
Just set it. Yeah.
It was dead level. I mean, it fit.
It's rare.
I mean, and I cut an inch off of the cabinet because they had a door casing on the right. That was going to be a cased opening, which means it's got, 3/4 of an inch of door trim. So I cut off 1 inch from my max, left to right, so I can slide it right past the door trim and go in there, no door trim. So, I could have just left it at a 1/4 inch like I usually do. But it just, the whole thing, man, it was just in and out. And I mean, it was just boom, boom, bam. And we in the truck and we're gone. And it's like, now, the one thing I did mess up, Trey was sitting there and we were getting ready to go. And Trey goes, "I do have one design question." And I said, "All right, what is that?" And he goes, because in the picture, the doors under the sink are on top of a drawer. The drawer, is under the doors, right there where the sink is. He goes, "You didn't put a floor in the cabinet under these doors. So when you open those two doors and look in, it's just drawer. It's the drawer down there below it." And I was thinking, I don't think that's going to work, like, uh-oh. But we have to go back and put hardware on. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to cut some stilts. We'll put down in there and set the fake bottom on top of them and screw it in from the sides. And, so it's not a big deal. But it's like, how do you miss that in a design? And I said, well, the way you miss that in a design is you do something out of the ordinary. Like ordinarily, we don't put drawers under doors under a sink.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that was the design element that changed, and it threw me all off. I the whole time I didn't think, well, we need a floor in there. So she can't put anything under her sink. It's just going to be in the drawer.
Well, it's just a quick way to get it in the drawer. You don't have to open it.
Yeah. But I told her, I said, hey, we're going to put bottoms in there too. And I thought about making up something like, Oh, well, we wanted to leave it out in case we had to miss the plumbing. We didn't really know how that was going to go, and I'm like, there ain't no reason in doing that. Just tell her you're going to come back and do it, so.
Well, that's what I did yesterday. I didn't even bother with the whole, this cabinet's the wrong size and this cabinet's crooked. I was like, I'm just going to take these with me, and then that way your electrician can work without them in his way, and then I'll bring them back.
Ooh, that's genius, dude.
Like why create stress when there's no need? I mean, there really wasn't a need to create stress. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, it was one of them times. I was going to say something. I don't remember what it was now. Anyway,
well, there's something I wanted to ask you about because I didn't get clarification because you were like frustrated. While it was going on, but I want to hear what happened with the doors.
The doors.
You said you had 32 to make.
So here's what. So all right. So let's take a quick little break.
Okay.
And then I'll tell that story. Okay. Because it's going to take a minute to unpack the whole thing. So we'll take a quick little break and then we'll come back and I'll do that story.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks for the little break there. So let's talk about this whole door situation, which is it really doesn't have anything to do with doors this time. So Trey, get off of you think you know what's going on. I didn't misbuild the doors. I ain't even got them built yet. Still don't have them built yet.
Uh-oh.
All right. So this is more a conversation that's based around the topic, there are no shortcuts. And the short of it is basically is that it is way longer to try to do a shortcut most of the times. It's in carpentry world for sure. It more times than not, the long road is the road that you go down that starts with a shortcut.
Yep.
So let me give you an example and tell you exactly what I mean. So I'm putting these cabinets together. These are MDF, mostly paint grade. So I'm doing a lot of pocket holes and pocket holing the shells to pull the face frame in. Well, what I didn't realize during the process, so I use a Craig Foreman for it. So if you guys don't know, so a Craig Foreman, it's a little step up from like the jig that you just clamp to a board and you run a drill through. Like the Foreman, like you kind of slide a board in. And it's kind of got a drill in a platform, and when you pull a lever, it shoots the drill bit at that right angle and drills your pocket hole for you. Well, until like this week, I've not had any problems out of this Craig Foreman. 2 years. I mean, it's been running fine. Well, then all of a sudden, so on the back of it, there's a screw that you turn, and that adjusts the depth of the drill bit. Right.
Okay.
Well, at some point in time, it loosened, and I don't have a very deep hole, right? I noticed it during the assembly, like, because it's like I was trying to explain this whole thing to Kim. She's like, "How do you not notice it?" Well, you put it in there, and it's drilling in the bottom, and you drill, and you set over to the side. You drill, you set over to the side. It's not like this has been a problem that I would know. I should look over and flip and check every once in a while, right?
Right.
So I get to the assembly process and realize, my holes aren't deep enough. And I need to get it all put back together, put the cabinet together, and deadline is, running near. I was like, you know what I'll do? I'm going to put these screws in. I got to fill these holes anyway. I'll fill them and I'll knock the top of the screw head down with a sander when I come through there. Oh. Well, buddy, that was the wrong bleepity bleep answer to start. Okay. So here's how this rabbit hole goes. So I fill the holes and I go to sand and I'm making way, but not anyway good. And I'm eating sandpaper like a fat boy at a buffet.
Yeah.
Like it's just not working. So I was like, oh, I'll get the Dremel. So I get the Dremel and it's just in my hand. It's getting hot. I mean, we're having to grind these screws. I mean, we're not talking about 2 or 3 screws either. We're talking about, 30.
It's a mess of them.
Yeah. I was like, well, that didn't work. Or it's working, but it's taking forever. Well, if that worked, I know what'll step it up even more. Let's get the grinder. I put the grinder in there. I can tap the screw. I can tap screw heads real quick, knock them down, move on. Right. Well, that just opened up a whole nother ball of wax because you hit the screw and it bounces. And now I've hit the cabinet edge, and then I went through the screw too far, and I'm in. Oh, so now let's Bondo these. Let's fill all this up. Okay, all right. So now I got that all done. All right, now I got to sand that Bondo, run that sander down. Well, then the sander cuts into a place that you didn't want it to cut into. So you're just like a dog chasing his tail, to chase his problem. And all the time, you're just eating time off of a clock that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
When the answer would have been, when I realized that the daggum holes weren't where they're supposed to be, I should have walked over to the pocket hole machine, fixed it, and drilled some new holes. 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'd have had my problem fixed, right?
Yeah.
I would have had some extra holes to fill at best, because it's really hard on that machine to line up your pocket. You're not going to re-drill the same hole because it's spaced down. So you're not going to But then I'm just beating my head like, Travis, why did you do this to yourself? You knew that the shortcut was going to be a painful thing to do. You knew that you knew better. But at the moment you're like, oh, I know a fix. I'll do that. And we can just keep rolling. And somehow in our mind, we think that rolling forward is still faster than backing up 2 steps.
Exactly. Yep.
And it wasn't. And so what that led to was basically an entire day of problem solving for problems that I had created for myself, that I saw the problem for and decided not to fix it, then decided to move forward and try to fix it later. And it just ate time that I didn't have.
Yeah.
So go the whole day, get the build together. So that, and we're installing the next day. So I think at like 9:00 that night, I closed the door on the trailer. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed and get up at 5. Like, you want a way to make you not like your job very much? Keep doing stupid crap like that to yourself. Like,
yeah. When I started out, I thought I was smarter than the equipment, and I was smarter than anybody else. And, and I've been there, man. And I've like, well, that guy that said you really need to tack these doors off before you, spray your last coat. Just blowing it off with the nozzle is good enough.
Yeah.
And what you fail to realize is, like, when you tack them off, even with a brush, because we use a big old wide, cheap paintbrush, and we dust them off, is you'll catch stuff. You'll catch something that wasn't really filled good. You'll catch a defect, a dent, a ding, a scratch, whatever. Well, when you just go through there and you're trying to hurry, you just blow everything off, and then you slap a coat of paint on, and you're like, whoo, I need to go home. And what I've learned is you better let that paint dry for 20 minutes before you go home. You better walk back in that room. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock. You sit down in here, you look at Facebook for 20 minutes, you go back and you look at a few of them, make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
And so, I've been there before, and you go through, man, and there's just, I got to repaint 5 of these doors, and if you would have just done it right the first time, you would have caught it.
What does that do? Does that let you, in the paint world, does that let you fix it right then? Or does it just like not let you walk in the morning to a crap storm?
Yeah. So you're talking about when you go back and double check 20 minutes later?
When you're saying give it 20 minutes, like, is there actually something you can do then? Or are you just preventing from walking in tomorrow morning and going,
well, if
what
you
the
see,
heck happened here?
Like, if you see, because what happened is I sprayed them and left, and the humidity was too much and they blushed. And I came in the next day ready to hang them, and I'm looking at them and they're all foggy. And I'm like, why are these things? And that's when I discovered what blushing was. So I always go back in there and look, make sure, because a lot of stuff can happen in the finish world. You can have solvent pop, you can have craters, you can have spits, you can have, all kinds of different stuff. But like I learned a long time ago in that paint shop, prep, people sit there and they tell us, prep. Prep is the most important part. You got to prep. And it's true. I mean, you're not going to get around it. And there's been just, I don't know, a plethora of things that happened that I thought, oh, well, we can fudge it this way, fudge it that way. And like you said, dude, you're just sitting there chasing yourself in a circle.
Yeah.
Instead of just, and another thing is, if I see something that's not right on a label or on the cut list or something, I don't just cut it. And nine times out of 10, it's correct.
Yeah.
But man, that one time out of 10, I'm like, why does this just not seem right? Let me go back and look and take 2 minutes and look, and then, but yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You can really, and it's all in the name of hurrying up and getting done. It's nothing lazy about it. It's just you're against the clock.
Yeah, but the hard thing is when you're the only person in there that it's really really weird to cuss yourself out for being so stupid.
Yeah.
Just but yeah, I mean the moral is slow down for one. I probably should have just made the call earlier that day and said, hey, you know what, we're going to push this deadline back a day. But I've really not missed a deadline, so to speak. And I really, and plus trying to get out of town for this remodel, which apparently now God wants me to stay here because I think I'm going to get snowed in this week. But, but now, like doing the doors, like I spent almost all day milling, just milling and preparing. But it's like, just take your time. Let's get it milled once. Let's get it, done. I mean, and sometimes it's just getting yourself in the right headspace. I mean, I walked in, I think it was last Saturday, maybe. I mean, first threw a piece of plywood down on saw. First piece I cut, wrong. Like, it was supposed to be like 18 and a quarter, and I cut it it was supposed to be like 19, and I cut it at like 18. Like of course, I cut it too small. It's not like I cut it too big and
every
just
time
cut it down. It was like, oh, and boy, that really, when you, especially, when you're burning the midnight oil, you're on your 30th day straight in the shop or, something like that. And, and then you walk in on a Saturday, everybody else is in the bed, and you have a buddy or two on vacation around. This didn't happen this time, but, it seems like it does. You got a buddy on vacation who's sending, pictures from, somewhere and have a good time. And then you run that thing across there, and the first thing you do is screw up. And you're like, well,
yep.
Crap storm,
And you check Facebook, and everybody else's lives are just perfect, and everybody's having a good time, and you're just sitting there, like, golly.
Yeah. I mean, it's affected me. Like, I've been really quiet on social media this week. Like, it's just down. Like, it just had me down. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to climb out of it. And I'd be honest, like tonight, I really didn't want to do this tonight. Like, I didn't want to, but I also felt like I needed to for the fact of like to talk about it for one. Because I mean, I can talk to Kim about it, and she listens and she tries to understand. But if you don't do, it's almost like a mechanic trying to explain to me how he messed up an engine. Like,
right.
Okay, yeah.
You just have like generic responses,
Yeah, I guess
I hate that.
Oh, yeah, I guess that doesn't go there. The old hydrocylator to the Johnson rod. Yeah, you do need a flux capacitor coupler there. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, when you don't know, but when you get a chance to talk to somebody who knows and who has also made some of those same mistakes and like goes, yeah, and can kind of laugh, because hopefully one day I'm going to be talking to somebody who's like coming up and making this same stupid mistake, and I'm just going to go, oh, I remember when I did stupid crap like that. Yeah, just go re-drill the hole next time, buddy. Like, that's way faster, but it is what it is, and I've learned a lot. I mean, I did, but craftsmanship is, I don't know if it's quality and craftsmanship in the same category. Like, is that the same thing?
Quality and craftsmanship?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can buy a quality drawer guide that I didn't put any craftsmanship in,
Right.
But I mean, they kind of go hand in hand too.
I think they're complementary to each other.
Yeah, yeah. And
But like I can use all the quality materials that I want, and I can use all the quality tools that I want to put it together. But if I don't slow down and use some craftsmanship to all assemble it all, I got crap. I don't have quality or craftsmanship at the end of the day, And I was just thinking about, I was like, well, I'm glad I'm not Semper Fi fine woodworking. You're fine woodworking because I ain't done nothing fine to this all week, I just Semper Fi builds. I built some stuff,
Yeah.
But it's because it's funny. Like, I went last week and did a quote or a look for the baseball team, and I was telling you about that, and I just finally told the athletic director, I was like, look, I just don't think that what I do and what this guy wants are on the same levels. I was like, because when you start, referring to 2x4s, I'm kind of out. And he's like, well, you don't want to put your name on that? And I was like, I really don't.
Nope.
And I was like, and I think he's got a pipe dream for a budget. Like, so I think I'm gonna bow out. Really appreciate it. If you got something else, I want to do it. I like helping the school, but
yeah, and sometimes you just have to know if something's probably just going to go south, and it's a lot. Like I've got people that call me with questions, that's stuff that's going on, and I turn that job down. They're like, hey, I talked to you a while back and you didn't have time to get to us. What do you think about yada, yada, because I tell them, if I can help you in any way, you got my number, call me. I don't care. I'll help you. But I can't do the job. And I think a lot of times that saves a lot of headache, man, because you would have probably came in, he'd have beat you up over the price, and you'd have already started out on a bad foot, unmotivated. And then well, I don't know, I'm just going to slap this thing together. And next thing you know, he's calling people in, say, look at this little thing, look at that,
Well, I've learned too, when you're dickering over the price so bad, a lot of times that you and what a lot of people don't understand in the outside world, in the construction industry, like in any type of construction type trade, you have to have fudge room, because there are going to be things that are out of your control, and there are going to be things that are in your control, but still have to be worked around. And when you okay, well, I'll take this off and I'll take this off, and you come off $100 or a little bit. Well, you're starting to get into your fudge factor room, and then that just makes you work tighter, which will probably go back to this topic, create shortcuts that you got, and then you just end up in these rabbit holes, because it's all based on time. And when you don't allocate enough time for the job, that's when things go wrong. It just starts really getting haywire from there.
Yeah, I had a guy send me a picture. I'm going to send it to you because this is going on. We're live. You know what I mean? And he said, this is a buddy of mine, and he said, so apparently these people hang a towel up on the side of their cabinet.
Oh.
And I don't know how old this.
They're worn to finish, slap off of there, how they.
Yep. And this is what he says. He says, man, I'm over at someone's house right now that cat scratch cabinets, did the cabinets in. Look at this work. Quality work is hard to find nowadays. I don't care if they use this area 1,000 times a day for the past 3 years. This is a bunch of laughing faces. And I said, hey, I give a 1-year warranty, buddy. And he's like, no, I just found it. By the way, they hadn't said anything. He said, no, I'm just messing with you. Actually, everything looks really good. He said, I think that clear coat from Lowe's usually lasts longer. I told them Lowe's or Home Depot should have installed everything.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, though. I mean, what are they? I bet you some of that's jewelry.
Well, and yeah, what it is they're hanging the towel up, on the side of one of their cabinets, and just over the years, it's worn through the finish. This stuff
is
swinging.
That in the kitchen? Do you remember that job?
I wish he would tell me what job that is. I'm gonna have to do some searching around. But see, it went through the stain and everything. Like it's worn the stain off.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is if it's because it looks like it's the left hand side, like by a sink. So I'm wondering if it's like a ring or jewelry on the, like, especially like a lady's hand, and every time she
Yeah.
hits that, every time she
Or
hangs it up, she's dragging that jewelry down.
yep, yep. Or wet rags.
The wet, yeah. Yeah, wood doesn't like water. There's not a whole. I mean, there's a few things you can do to it, but it doesn't like water. You know, our
Nope.
old house, we had to actually move the coffee pot because the steam coming off the coffee pot, just when it was making coffee, was starting to bubble the middle panel in the door.
Yep.
Like I could see it just on the edge. I was like, hey, we got to do something about this. Like,
Yeah, you can't. I guarantee the finish for a year,
yeah,
and I guarantee it against chipping, cracking, breaking, that sort of thing. I don't guarantee against scratch or abrasion. So yeah, I mean it's wood. We use professional coatings, but if you hang a wet rag up on the side of a cabinet over 3 years and constantly wiping it, it turns into, it's basically sandpaper at that point.
right.
You can wear through it. But he said, no, they didn't say anything. He said, I just happened to see it. I am curious as to whose house that is, though.
Yeah.
What if I
You
said,
don't-
hey, I'll come back and fix that for you?
You don't recognize it at all?
No, because it's just that one little picture. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I didn't know if it was enough.
I can tell you that is a Thatcher handle in oil rub bronze.
You don't recognize the old bunny rabbit sitting in the corner?
No, I don't know what that, or that backsplash. But it's got to be, I don't know whose house that could be. He didn't tell me.
Ain't no telling.
I got a feeling that this young man that is sending me this text is a few deep
Gotcha.
in the old liquid courage.
They got a big cup.
He's probably got a lot of like 16-ounce bottles or 12-ounce cans.
Little weights. Little weights.
Because all the exclamation points and all cap letters he sent in the text.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking, I text you a lot, and you don't usually do that. So, but anyway, yeah. Hey, there you go, live on the air, man. Live on the air. We're sitting here, discussing that. But yeah, sometimes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I covered Trey's first job, covered the install. I wanted to get your take so far and see if you have done anything on Pro 100. Like, where are we at?
Where am I at on Pro 100? I cussed it pretty hard today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting better at it. I am getting better at the process. Like, I keep doing some things that are causing my own headaches. Not locking things in the settings and so forth. But there's some things that it just does that just, it drives me bonk. Like I highlighted today, so I did when I was doing that rebuild. So 3 shelves, I highlight the 3 shelves, and I want a button that just tells me the distance between those 3 shelves. And there's not. I got to go. It wouldn't tell me the distance between them. All it would tell me was that they were 3/4 thick. Now I could go grab the measure tool and then get it clicked to the edge, and then click it to the edge, and then click it to the edge, and click it to the edge. But I couldn't find a button to make to show me the measurement.
Yep. Yeah, I'll show it to you. There is one.
All right. So I mean, maybe some of it's me, but I still don't trust it. Like I just don't.
So on your, you have buttons that are like quick dimensions.
The
little eye looking.
On the left. Yeah.
Well, I don't know where it is on yours, but anyway, there's one that's like, it looks like an eye, but it's got several little lines in between the eye. That's it. So everything you highlight, it's going to tell you how thick that shelf is, and then the space in between it, and then how thick that shelf is, and the space in between it, and the thick how thick that shelf is.
Okay.
But I'm still learning stuff about it. Like, did you know in plan view, when you're looking down at the cabinet, if you want to highlight the entire frame, you know how you hold shift and hold your mouse and highlight a whole group of cabinets?
Uh-huh.
So if you're looking down, you can highlight the top of the face frame, and it'll highlight the entire face frame.
Huh.
Looking down at it, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're highlighting an area from basically where the camera is to the floor.
Right.
And anything inside that rectangle is going to be highlighted. I just figured that out the other night, and that was a big help on some stuff that I do.
You know what I can't figure out how to do? I can't figure out how to select a door once it's inside of a group.
Selected. Okay. Well, I can show you that.
Like, I can go over into the structure and find that door and click it and select it. But like when I do like Control Shift or Shift, it'll pick a component of the door. Like I'm like, no, I just want the door. But because I got it grouped with the face frame.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It won't. I can't separate just the door.
I think there's a way to lock that. I think we'll get into that because we're going to lose people.
Yeah,
we start talking Pro 100 technical stuff, but
might lose me.
Well, yeah. I think I have a way to do that too. I'll have to knock the dust off and see. But
yeah, but no, it's going. I mean, I'm getting better with it. I did do that set of plans for another guy, and I asked Derek yesterday. I said, "Did he build those cabinets?" He said he did. I said, "Did he use the plans?" He said, "I think he did." I said, "Well, he never called, and I mean, they must have worked and made sense because he never called and asked any questions."
Remember AR-15 guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did those, and like, the job kind of took a little while to do, and I never heard anything. And we talk all the time. And finally, I asked him. I was like, "Did you build that job?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Did you have any trouble with it?" He goes, "No, it was all right." And I was like, "Man, God, at least tell me,
Yeah.
I'm over here because that's somebody else." Like last thing, I don't want to mess my own stuff up, but I really don't want to have somebody else cutting up something wrong.
And that's why I told Derek, he was asking me, and I said, well, he was asking me what I charged him. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I said, you know what I did? Because I don't like stuff like that anyway. I don't like trying to price stuff like that. I said, but I also don't know this guy very well, and you have to see him a lot. I was like, so if something went bad with the plans, or if it was something that he didn't like I didn't want to constantly hear about it. Right. So I just told him, said, look, I'll do them for free this time. Go through the process. If you like the build, if the process helps you and it makes sense, and you want me to do another one before you move forward, we'll figure out a price moving forward. Mm-hmm. But you see how much value you find in this set, little trial period, and you see if you find value in it, and then you'll know what you're getting, you'll know what to expect, and you know what you're paying for moving forward.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the fairest thing to do. I just noticed there's a tile crooked on that wall over there right above the stove, and it's driving me bazonkers. I mean,
get your chisel.
They're two corners. It's two corners. And I mean, I'm like, how did you do that? And it's driving me nuts. Or I'm tired, one of the two. Because I got up at 0:30 this morning.
Yeah.
To go on a little field trip.
Field trip? Where did you go?
I went 15 minutes up the road. I told you I'm not traveling 3 states away to pick up a machine. Told you.
That's right.
If I just wait.
That was one of your options I gave you. I said you can wait and maybe something someday. And boy, did you get lucky. Hopefully, if it runs.
Hopefully. Yeah, a little hard to test. a little hard to test. So I bought an upcut saw, y'all.
Yes.
So we've been in this radial arm saw, miter saw. Well, I really think that the bee's knees for this task, I really think is an upcut saw. From what I've read,
cuts ain't no doubt, buddy. That's the Cadillac.
Yeah. So, how do we describe an upcut saw? So, it's a table, like a cabinet.
It's a washing machine.
A washing machine, okay.
With 16-inch blade in it.
18.
And 18-inch blade. And when you put your piece of wood on top of the washing machine and hit the foot pedal, this humongous, crazy, terrifying blade jumps up out of your washing machine and saws through the wood real quick and then jumps back down. That's what it is.
But that's all it does. All it does is 90-degree cuts. So with an 18-inch blade, I should be able to get probably an 8 or 9-inch cross cut. Probably
no, you'll probably be 12-inch cross cut.
You think that big?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But so found it on Marketplace. Guy had it in a shed. It's an Oliver. I mean, it's not a knockoff. I mean, it's a good brand. I mean, it should be
My favorite brand, by the way, of tool.
Yeah, yeah. Hasn't run in a couple of years. It's been in storage, but it looks good. It's not all rusty or anything. Guy wanted $1,500 for it. Is where he started off at, which is a good price. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not, I'm cheap. I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to pay your asking price. So if you want me to buy something on Marketplace, you want $1,500 for it. You should have posted it too. I'm just saying. But no, I mean, it's one of those things too. Like it's kind of a niche item. Like you're not going to find a lot of people looking for an upcut saw. It's a big item. It's heavy, and you're not going to get to find a lot of people. So I just messaged him. I was like, hey, look, here's where we're at. It's 3-phase. You can't prove to me that it works. You say it works. We have no way of testing it. You say it's in your way. I can be there Saturday morning. Will you take $1,000 for it? He said it is absolutely in my way. If you can show up Saturday morning, you can have it for $1,000.
Ah, man. Did you look at what they go for new?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Dude, I think you're fine on it. I mean, does it have a motor in it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those 3-phase motors, they run forever.
I mean, it's a straight 900 pounds.
Yep.
So here's the thing, though. So he's like, he's kind of gives me a load of bull about getting it in and out of this shed. He's like, oh, I put it in that shed by myself. I went right off the trailer and into the shed. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Well, I got somebody that's coming with me. So, I mean, it should be no problem. Well, I wish I'd have videoed it. This dude's yard, first of all, the gate was as wide as my trailer. I mean, I think I had an inch on each side. Like I had to fold my mirrors in, which if you've ever driven with your mirrors folded in, it is the weirdest feeling in the world. Because when you look left or right, there's just your mirror, so it's just super weird. But I had to fold my mirrors and get through the gate, and I go through, and of course my mirrors are folded in, so I can't see the trailer at all. So I'm just trusting the two guys out there watching it. Yeah. And it's cold this morning. I mean, it's 26 degrees out there. I mean, it was cold. And but there's a pool. There's like an above ground pool. There's a chicken coop. There's another shed. I got to take a left beside the pool. There's another shed and a trailer. So I got to take a left by the pool, then swing up into the corner of the yard as tight as I can, and then back the trailer to this shed. I'm like, okay. So I got there. I was like, I don't know how we're getting out of here.
Figure it out later. That's pool time, baby.
That's in a minute's problem, not right now. And I'm telling you, cuz I snatched on that thing for the first time. I said, whoa, we're not moving this. I was like, you put this in here by yourself? He goes, yeah, just a hand truck. I said, well, I am not gonna piss you off because you a man, son. If you put this in here by yourself, you hoss daddy. And I'm just telling you. I mean, I couldn't even get to wiggle. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, how are we gonna do this? And then so I had the gate drop down on the trailer and it was too low and we were trying to get it up. So I brought some furniture dollies. So we put furniture dollies underneath the outside of the trailer and then put the gate down on top of that. And then we were getting it to move. And I was like, we're not getting this up the ramp. Like, I mean, we're not going to walk it. Like, what do we do? And it's got outfeed tables. It's got 2 6-foot rollers for each side.
Mm-hmm.
Noodle come in. I put them rollers on the floor of the trailer, put a spare piece of plywood, had the trailer on top of the roller. We got the machine out and sitting on that piece of plywood, and we rolled it straight up the roller, moved the next one around, and daisy chained it, rolled it straight up. I mean, it was like butter. I mean, I was like, I know how the Egyptians feel now. I mean, we just rolled it right into the trailer. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, we're strapping it right here.
Yeah.
And then I had to get out. Holy Moses.
That little trailer just looking longer and longer in your mirror.
God. And maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. But that much weight sitting in that one corner like it did, it affected the trailer turning. Like it wouldn't cut like it normally cuts. Like I drive this trailer a lot. Like
Right. Yeah.
I'm not the best backer upper of trailers in the world. Like don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty good. Like I usually can get it where I want to, and I couldn't get this thing to cut. Like it was crazy. And then I think actually the harder part was getting it off at the shop, which we expected to be way easier. Like we backup will be on concrete, like not rough, uneven ground.
Yeah.
But Lyta never got it. It was just being able to get leverage on it in a place and get something underneath it at the same time. That was the problem.
Yeah.
But we got it leveraged up, put in a couple of dollies, and I can roll it around the shop now. Metal filings falling out of it like nobody's business because they cut aluminum with it is what they did with it. They cut extruded aluminum with it. Had two blades come with two blades on it that have just been freshly sharpened. They're still coated in wax.
Really?
So yeah.
What's the cost of an 18-inch,
Hadn't looked yet.
150 tooth blade?
Have not looked. I'm scared.
Well,
so now I'm on the hunt. But now I'm on the hunt for a VFD.
So did you receive a message back? Okay. So if you go to his website, which is, I can't remember the name of it. We're talking about Jack English Machines. You guys need to go YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you go and look up Jack English Machines and look at some, especially if you're a tool head. He's got a place called the Watkins Temple, where basically he's got a bunch of Watkins equipment, machinery, woodworking machinery from England from the 40s and 50s. And it is just an amazing place. But he builds VFDs. But anyway, if you go on his video, like on YouTube, he's got a link you can click on, takes you to his website. And then you send him an email with a picture of your motor plate. And he will price you out a VFD. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm trying to
So he
find
might not respond to, Instagram messages. He may only, respond to emails or something. So
yeah, I get that. I mean, he's got 130,000 followers. If they all send him a message, I wouldn't listen to it either. So I got it pulled up. So I'll find that. So yeah, I'm hoping a VFD for about $1,000.
Yeah, I believe I looked up 30 horse, 30 amp VFDs, and they were like $9.99.
So I mean, if I can do that, I'll try to get that ordered while I'm gone, and then hopefully it'll arrive sometime. In the so that when I come back, I can kind of start putting it together. But yeah,
now you realize that the VFD you get is going to have two ways to turn that motor on. It's got a way to turn it on current limiting, and it's also got a timed way to turn it on. So you could say, I want you to ramp up, because who knows if you're going to be at 60 hertz. You may need to be at 40 hertz or 70 hertz or something, because that's what it's doing. It's changing the frequency of the electricity. The higher the frequency, the faster your motor's going to spin. Look at him. I'm losing him already.
I have no flipping clue what you're talking about.
Anyway, you can, on most VFDs, you can set them up where you say, I want you to turn this motor on as fast as you can, but don't go over 30 amps.
What does VFD stand for?
Variable frequency drive.
Okay.
So all it's doing is changing the frequency of your fancy little electrical wave. Okay. We're not going to get into that, so don't worry. But or you could say, I want you to ramp it up from 0 to 60 hertz in 10 seconds. And then, because when you hit that start button on the VFD, it doesn't go boom and it's running. It's going to be it's got to slowly start it up, and it's going to eventually get up to speed.
So, I mean, this is a machine, like I'm going to turn the machine. I need to turn the machine on, and it's just going to, because it's just going to be running. And then I just foot pedal it. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I can't figure out how to get to the blade. Like,
from the side.
I knew that was coming. So yes, I found the access panel, like change the blade. I haven't figured out how the blade guard comes up and down. Like it's got that shroud over it. I mean, I can't figure out, I don't know if it's the air that makes it come up or
yeah. Yeah, it's an air clamp, so it's gonna just as soon as you put your foot on that pedal, that whole shroud is gonna go down until it touches your piece of wood. Because
Oh,
that's
so
also
that
your
shroud
clamp.
is the clamp?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how small of a piece I'm going to be able to cut.
That's what I told you on the phone. We were talking about it. I
Yeah.
don't know. It could be 9 inches, or it could be. You might be able to rig it up, but like you're not going to be able to cut a 3/4 inch piece off.
Right.
There's no chance of that. But you could get 5 inches. I'd say you'd probably be able to make 5 inches work. But I don't know. It depends on how close that blade guard is to the edge of the machine is going to be.
Yeah.
Is going to determine how easily you can get a short piece.
Yeah.
But did it come with a manual?
It's online. He said it's still available online.
Go ahead and print it out. Buy your 3-ring binder, print it out, and put it in the binder.
Yeah. No, I don't know where I'm going to put the binder, but yeah.
You don't have a shelf in your shop for all your power tool books?
Oh, how many power tool books? Well, I only got one power
9 shapers. You bought table saws,
I bought
planers.
them used. They ain't come with no books. The only thing I bought new is a table saw.
Oh, well, you need to get books for them, because when you least expect it, something weird is going to happen. You're going to be like, how do I adjust this?
That's true. But I'm super excited about it. I mean, it's good God, it should last forever. It's heavy. I mean, but it's in great shape. The emergency stop button is broken off the front of it. I'm a little nervous about that, but it shouldn't be a problem to replace that.
Unless that is the stop button. But with a VFD, you don't need that.
No, this is like the emergency stop, though.
Okay. All right.
Like, it's like a thigh bump.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's right.
So does it have an on and an off button and then a separate emergency stop? Oh, you're good then.
Yeah.
You don't need no emergency stop.
Unless it's engaged and broke off. I got to figure out how to bypass it.
Well, you'll turn it and pop it out. Most of the time, they look like quarter turn and they come out.
Yeah, I don't know what to turn though. It's like it looks like a broken light bulb. There ain't a whole lot there. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny looking. Yeah. But no, but it's sitting in the corner collecting dust.
I'm super jelly. I'm super jelly, man.
I can't believe I found it 15 minutes away. I mean, literally in the same town. Dude,
they're like $8,000 new. Are you not going to talk about the fact that you got it for 1/8 of the cost of a new machine? 1/8.
No,
not half, not 80%.
Not until I get it up and running, because I don't know for sure what it's cost me yet.
Oh, it'll run fine.
I'm sure it will. I mean, Kim just looked at it like, this is what you get. I'm like, I'm just telling you that is.
Hey, you tell Kim, you see that little sticker right there that says, keep your hands out from under this area. You better listen to that, buddy.
Oh, when she saw the blade, she's like, that's a lot of saw blade. I was like, oh yeah. But
again, it's one of these tools that does one thing, but it does it very well. I mean, it's just, and think about that when you go to cut your door stiles, your door rails, your face frames, everything is nice and square. It goes together, no gaps. I mean, think about how much time that could change you, save you down the road.
Just coming right off that sucker, right to a Maxiwa, get nice, clean pocket holes.
Yep. I'm telling you, man.
Talk to me, Big Daddy.
That stuff is awesome. I haven't bought any new tools in a while, I think. Getting about time, So let's talk about the Remarkable 2.
All right. Well, let's take a quick little break.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll come back and we'll do an electronic recap. Because we got, I know you got questions. And
I do.
We'll see if we can get them answered.
You better have answers.
All right. Well, hang out. We'll be right back, guys. All right, welcome back. No, this is the third segment, not the second segment.
Dang, I was hoping you wouldn't see me.
Now I'm going to have to edit all this out because everybody's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, there's only one way to keep these videos in order when you go back to do the editing, and that's really just to kind of throw up a little signal, and like so in the thumbnail, I know which one is which, and Mitch is trying to mess me up by flashing the wrong number up. But anyway, professionalism at its finest here on the Off the Rails podcast.
Okay, I'm not waiting any longer. Remarkable 2. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Remarkable 2. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I brought it in here. This is the Remarkable 2. So this is an electronic notepad, an e-pad. People call it, or an e-ink pad. Some people call it. And it's nice. Like it is super nice. It's got a pencil. And by the way, so by the way, this is a sticking point for Mitch is the cost of the pencil. There are like 3 or 4 other pencils that will work with this notepad.
Okay.
For one thing. Okay. Learned a thing. The tip in this is actually cardboard. And it wears down.
Didn't they give you like a pack of 10 or something?
Yeah, it comes with like a pack of 10 of them or so. So thoughts on the Remarkable. So as far as a device that feels like you are writing on a piece of paper, it's very realistic. I mean, it really does feel. When you look at like ebooks and the reviews, one of the real big reviews a lot of people look at is the latency, which is basically the delay time from between the pen stroke and the ink showing up on the screen. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Remarkable has like the fastest latency that there is. It's crazy. I can't even remember what it was, but it's super crazy. So it really, and it's one of those things like you can't really feel it, or you can't really tell it by watching videos. Like I've watched so many videos of people like they're like, see how much slower this is, and you don't. Everybody says it's you. You have to be the first-hand person to really notice the latency, and basically that just means that your pencil is over here and it's still writing back here. And everybody has made drastic improvements in that area, but the Remarkable supposedly is the best when it comes to that, and it does seem that way. It's simple. There's a power button and there's a USB charger. That there's nothing else. There's nothing else. So I will say that this is going back to Remarkable, though.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Yeah. So here's why. Here's why. I like it a lot. I really, really do. I like it. I enjoy it. The file system, or the system that is built into it for organizing, I don't particularly love. The way that it makes you like create folders and I don't really love it. So it's a little clunky to me. You create a new page, and it creates somewhere you don't want it. You can move it, and it's not super crazy. But because there's like no mouse and it's really not a computer, like it is kind of weird to move it. Yeah. But you can move it. The biggest sticking point for me is, so as this is set up, so I bought the Remarkable, which is a standalone item. I can't remember what it cost. I bought the Marker 2, which is the upgraded marker. And then I bought the keyboard folio. So it's got a little keyboard in there. So I'm at $700.
Mm-hmm.
Is where I'm sitting at with this.
Hurts a little bit. Boy, that hurts.
It does. And what hurts is that for $700, that's all it does. All it does is take notes. Now it does it extremely well. I mean, it does. But kind of after doing the reviews and kind of looking at some things, I am going to go with an iPad. And the reason being is, if you don't like the way that this takes notes, you're stuck. This is its software, its format. That's the only thing it does. And another kind of an odd sticking point with this, which I don't know that you can tell without actually getting it in your hands, that there's no backlight in this device.
Yeah. That was another thing. Yeah, I remember.
So you have to be you have to have a lit environment like you would with like a real pen and paper. So, and some people say it's not a problem. Some people, I think it's weird. Like in this day and age, like I think it should at least give me a low light thing. So if I wanted to lay in the bed, like
Mm-hmm.
while she's asleep and I wanted to work on some notes, like I could at least do something. If it's dark, I mean, I can't. And kind of another weird thing that I don't love is that the only place to keep the pencil is out here on the outside. Now it's a pretty strong magnet. Don't get me wrong. Like it would take,
Yeah.
I mean, it would take a decent amount to knock it off. I think they just went in the garbage disposal. But you can knock it off.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with the iPad is that if you download an app and you don't like the way that it takes notes or organizes notes, you just go download another app.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we covered that. I remember because I just listened to I finished our last episode tonight when I was cutting nail bands, waiting on you to get ready. And I specifically said that. I said one of the things I didn't know if I was going to like is the clunkiness of moving stuff and trying to get it over here and organizing it and everything. Because,
now the whole thing with the cloud and it showing up in different places, I don't think that that's a thing. Like that's pretty seamless. You have a doc, it's on your phone, it's on the computer, like it's just there. Like as long as you got Wi-Fi connection, you've got the document wherever you want it.
So it automatically sends it to your phone?
Yeah, it automatically syncs.
Oh, okay.
It syncs itself, yeah. It's the document relocation. Like, I don't want it in the Smith folder. I need this in the Jones folder. And then kind of creating those folders.
Okay.
It's kind of the camera would be nice to have if you're taking notes. It would be nice to be able to screenshot cameras. And then I think for me, is that I also want some kind of organization and calendar app, and I would like it in that. And again, you can do a calendar in this. Like it has a template for a calendar, but you're manually like it just doesn't have any smart features to that calendar.
It won't remind you, hey, you got to go here
Correct.
today. Go, yep.
Correct.
Yep.
It's more like, I mean, it's just more like like if you took, grandma's calendar off the side of the fridge and you wrote what you had to do in it today. Well, if you don't go look at grandma's calendar, you're not going to know that you had an appointment today.
I would be shut down without the reminder app and alarm on my iPhone.
Oh yeah.
I would have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not the $700 that's the problem. I don't mind spending money for a good product, and it is a damn good product. Don't get me wrong. Like, I talked to another guy that is a local woodworker, and he loves his. Like, he's like, no, like, but he kind of had that whole thing like I did, like the ADD thing. Like, I just want this because it does this, and I can stay focused because this is all this does.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the $700, and that's all it does. Like, that was kind of the thing. I was like, I could spend $400 or $500 and get something that does things. And I just took him like the iPad. I won't put any apps on it. Like, I just won't put Facebook.
Yep.
I won't put an Instagram app on it. I'll keep it slim, keep it minimal. And, and then I'm doing some research. I'm trying to find, there's a couple of, from what I understand, like the Apple Pencil is not the way to go. That there are some better pencils out there that do feel more realistic.
But I had somebody send me a link on Facebook that they sent me a link to the screen cover that makes it write like paper.
It's called Paper-like.
Yeah.
Is the
I can't remember
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we put one on Taylor's when for engineering. We put one of those screens on hers.
Yeah.
Because she writes all her stuff.
Right. I just think like, for what we do, like if you were just taking note, if you ran a business and you had to take notes for the business or something, what we're going to do this week, here's our numbers we need to hit.
Or if I was, if all I did was just kind of journal or write down like notes and thoughts and then try to turn those things. If I was just a YouTuber and I wanted to write scripts and YouTube video ideas and like different things, I think it would be great for those kinds of things. Like
Right.
I do think it is it is a premium product. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everything about this thing is well made. I mean, um, the way it attaches, I don't even remember how it attaches to this. Oh, it's just by magnets. I mean, but I mean that it's super. It is the thinnest, like the thinnest tablet that's online on the market, and that's one of the things that a lot of people love is because when your hand is on the edge over here, the rounded edges and the thickness of it, you don't get that notebook edge on your hand like when you're writing.
It jacks your hand all up.
Yeah, it jacks you all up. I mean, and I mean, it's just it's super sexy. Like it's just sleek, and the aluminum is just nice.
You want to love it.
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, but
and also with us having Apple products,
but it's almost like being on DOS. It's almost going like back to DOS prompts. It's just
And I think with like the iPad being, an Apple product and us having Apple phones, it's the seamlessness of getting everything, sunk up together, synced together, sanctimized together.
That's something else.
Is I think it's going to be easier for us, and because my biggest, like I told you, man, my biggest thing is when I'm working on drawings, I want to be able to pull up a little window of my notes or something, and having it all on the computer.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, because that's my biggest thing is I'm just using that for the field. Once I get back, boom, everything goes on the computer. I can send the whole entire job with pictures, photos, appliance numbers, drawing, sketches, notes, paint colors, whatever, in one folder.
Yeah.
And then I can zip drive that entire folder to my PC and I've got it, and I can save all their drawings and everything in there,
See, if I was you and I had and the desktop scenario like you've got, I would get a second monitor and open up so if you do everything on the iPad and you save everything to notes, for example, open up your notes folder on monitor 2 and you can be looking at all your notes while you're doing monitor 1 and it's right there. Like you're just right there side by side, I mean, I at one point in time at a certain job that I had 3 monitors and I loved it. Like, I mean, you could multitask so well. Like security cameras were one monitor, but they were all in the same plane. So like when the guys needed help or I could see that they were getting overloaded, I could see it right there in my plane while I was doing other stuff. Gotta go and come back. But then I would just keep 2 right there, So like I would like keep like inventory on 1, and then I'd be on the website doing an order, So I'd go through the order, and be like, I got 3 of those. I need 1 more. I got 5 of those. I just need 1 more, and it's just kind of seamless. Now I don't have a desktop situation. I'm all just on laptops, so it's a little harder to do that. But there are ways, But I just think after doing I think Kim is about sick of me watching YouTube videos on e-tablets and all. And there's another one. Lenovo makes a great one that come out. They got really good reviews. Samsung has got one that got good reviews. But it just really seems like.
Have you looked at the Books?
The Books, yeah. I think it had like the longest latency period. That was like its kind of number one thing that everybody kind of was like, and there was another one that this guy, I tried to get into it, but the guy just loved the product so much. Like he like flipped this thing around, angled it, loved it, held it. He's just like, I just love it. I just love it so much. And I was like, okay, guy, you just made it awkward for me. I don't even want to own the same product that you own. You've made it so weird now. But I just think for the money, I want simplicity, but I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And I just don't feel like I'm getting $700.
So now you and I have to decide which iPad to get. And I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to get. The biggest sap sucker they make. That's the one I'm going to get.
So I'm going to older. I think I'm going to Gen 9, 9th Gen. I'm going with the 10.2 screen. because I don't want it to be much bigger than a piece of paper like this. And I only because after carrying this around and like holding it, the size is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as far as like, because it's not awkward, it's not clunky. It's a fantastic size for something to carry. I mean, it's not really much bigger than a regular notebook. I'm afraid if you get too big, so you're doing like the 12-inch. I think it's 12.
No, I mean I'm good with paper size. I don't know how big they come, but I'm good with paper size.
Yeah, like I mean, a paper is 8.5 by 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think that 10.2 is a good screen, and like you can like Target right now. I think it was $324 if you order online and go pick it up. There's like a $50, $80 sale price for doing an online order. Like you get another 50 or 60
I
bucks
also
off.
wonder. Somebody told me the other day. They said call Verizon and see if they can do something and charge you, $20 a month on your phone bill or something.
It's through the roof. It's high.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is. Well, and it's only the last time I looked at it, it's only like the newest generation that they do that on.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm kind of weird about tech. Like I normally I'm like, the newest. I want as close to the newest release that comes out because it outdates so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know that it's necessary with this task. Like,
right. Yeah.
I'm really just trying to remind myself that this is just a tool. This is not for fun. This is really just a tool to improve efficiency.
Yeah.
And what tool can I get that will get me there? It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. Like where's that happy middle ground?
And the good news is, I mean, we're talking notes and a few pictures. You don't need 800 gigabytes of memory on your iPad.
No, this is all going to go to your iCloud anyway.
That's right. So,
which I already pay $2 a month or $3 a month for iCloud storage. So, because it's through the roof. I mean, because I just take so many pictures and so many videos, and I'm just like, I don't want to worry about it.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can relatively cheap. I mean, everything's got to have a cloud service charge or whatever for it. So, but now the question is which app to buy, and going through that thing. It seems like a lot of people really, really recommend a app called Evernote.
Yep. I've seen that.
So we'll get there, but yeah,
it's going to be interesting to find out where this path leads us.
Yeah, it's sad. Like I'm kind of a sad bear. Like to decide to send it back is like,
dude, I was shocked when you said it was going back.
And it's just super nice. Like it really is. It's one of those things that like. But we
all know how bougie you are.
I can be. And everybody knows the bougie gets used wrong all the time. I am bougie. Bougie means that you like to look like you got money, but you ain't got none. I am bougie. I ain't got none, but I like to look like I got some. Like, some people call bougie just people who buy expensive crap. No, that's just got money. Bougie is we're playing a role in society. Right. We are pretending like we got money.
I'm getting a sign made for the house that says Bougie Acres on it. That's the official name of the place over there, Bougie Acres.
Are you spelling it Boozey?
I have no idea how to spell it.
Boozy?
Boozy? Something booty? Something like that. I don't know what it's going to be.
Boozy Acres.
But it was funny when we went in a rental, and I was like, we have a real bathtub, man. And Tommy's like, ooh, that's bougie. And then I was like, we got a full-size refrigerator, because we came from a camper.
Right.
And he was like, ooh, that's bougie. And so we just started calling that Bougie Rentals or something like that, And
it's amazing what'll make you appreciative of things, though, isn't it?
Golly, man, you ain't lying.
That's kind of, I told Kim this weekend, we were riding somewhere, and I said, it's just, I'm happy to be able to have the shop, and I'm happy to be able to afford to pay the rent for the shop. I was like, but boy, one day when that check is going towards a mortgage, payment on it, that's going to feel so much better.
Yeah.
golly, just because it's just a kick in the nose, but you're happy to have it, and you feel fortunate for these things,
Yeah.
but you're like, man, just to be able to put it in the right, build some equity in something.
That's right.
Not pay somebody else.
That's exactly right.
You're going to be crazy when you get out of that rental and start just putting the money on that house.
Yeah, and we went to some really good friends of ours. They got a kid that turned 13 today. And so it was just us, my family, and their family. That's it.
Gotcha.
And we cooked Kaneka dogs. And and he was like, hey, bring your guns, whatever you want. And we like to go over there and shoot skeet. We'll shoot skeet all afternoon over there,
Yeah.
And he built this place off grid, completely off grid, back in 2008, 2009.
Oh, wow.
He does, I don't know what it does. It's some kind of a drafting. He draws stuff so somebody else can look at it and know what to build as far as like streets and like land and roads and drainage, and I don't know, it's something he does weird stuff anyway.
Okay.
So his boss man was like, back in 2008, he goes, I don't know how many of y'all gonna be working here next week. We're losing clients left and right. The bottom's falling out. Nobody's building stuff. So he was like, shoot, man. So he went on his own, and he thought like world was going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And so he built this place, and it was completely off grid. He's on grid now. And that just happened like in the last 3 or 4 years. But really nice little cabin. I mean, everything's just kind of cut by hand and stuff in it, but it's super nice. And we were over there today, and we went and we shot and we ate dogs and all that kind of stuff. Kaneka dogs, not real dogs. And it was just quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no crazy stuff going on. The kids were riding a 4-wheeler some and all that. And we wound up talking about homesteading.
Okay.
And, and I told him, I said, it's going to be so nice when we move in, because then I can do something to raise the value of my homestead. And we're talking canning and jarring and pickling and growing and, all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this YouTube channel called Early American came up, and there's a woman on there, and she never talks during the videos. It's her and her husband, and they're obviously acting, but they have a cabin, and she cooks things and does things like they did late 1700s, early 1800s.
Oh,
she makes pies and cakes, and
so she's like doing Dutch oven and coals and all that.
Oh yeah, cooking on the fireplace and all that. And we're sitting around watching that, and of course now we're talking. But the point is, it's going to be so nice to have a place done that we can invest time in, and whatever we want to do, and just like whatever your next step is, when you get there and that shop, hopefully is right in the backyard.
Yeah.
And your whole thing is going to change, man. Like everything you do is going to change, and you can be like, man, the stress of driving all the way there and driving back, and I forgot this, forgot that. It's just going to be gone.
Yeah.
There's negatives to having a shop in your yard, like people coming over, people stopping by wanting quotes or whatever. And that's why I told you, don't advertise that you're a cabinet shop over there.
Right. Yeah.
But there's also a lot of good too, to having. I think
the benefits outweigh the cons. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really do.
Oh, yeah, get to go home for lunch, and cook something, warm something up, whatever, and just kind of chill out, get your mind out of the game for an hour.
Not have to pee in a bucket.
Yep, no buckets. You'll at least have a porta potty out there.
I'm telling you, man. Like if I have a place with a toilet in it, I don't know if I know what to do with myself. Right. It's amazing. And something, but I think, just the change from the other shop to this shop, as far as like the insulation and the heat situation, like it's already, that's already such an improvement.
Oh yeah. How's the wood stove?
Well, she's
or the
hungry.
Wood heater.
She gets it warm. I can get it warm in there, but I can't keep anything overnight. Like I don't know if it's not big enough, or I don't know what the deal is, but if I fill it up and try to shut her down, but I come in the morning and ain't nothing left. Like I ain't got coals.
Not even coals.
Not even coals.
The only thing that could mean is you got too much air coming in, and that's the only way that stuff's burning is with air.
Yeah,
and there just ain't no getting around that.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got a little door on the front, and I mean, it's on a chain. That's all I got.
Well, also, there is an option. You can put that fiberglass gasket on the door, maybe. That
It's
opens
got
and
that.
shuts. It's got the gasket?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll shut ours down. If I fill mine all the way up at 7 o'clock, and I shut it completely down, I close the door all the way, close the dampers all the way. When I come back, I've got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of charcoal in there.
Uh-huh.
And then when you open that door up, it kind of starts to glow. And then you give it like 15, 20 seconds, boom, that sucker is bright orange, and it's 1,000,000 degrees in there again. And you just keep throwing wood in there,
No, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah,
no.
And so if I had to, like next week, I'm going to probably come over here and feed that one in the middle of the night too.
Yeah.
Just kind of keep it going.
Yeah, because after last month's power bill, I'm trying to keep that electric heater from kicking on, but.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I only have like 2 or 3 months of that $400 bill, I mean, it ain't the end of the world. It ain't the greatest thing either, but it ain't the end of the world.
We've gone through 1.5 so far this winter.
See, I can't remember all that stuff. I'm down. I'm low.
Yeah.
I've gone through about $400 worth of firewood. That's all I know.
Well, the first load we got the half cord. They charged us for a whole cord.
Yeah.
And I about lost it on Tammy. And I was like, what are you doing paying them, $200, $300 for a half? This is not anywhere near a cord. And she goes, well, I ordered a cord and that's what they were supposed to bring. And I said, this ain't nowhere close to a cord. And so I was like, man, I'm going to say something. I said, well, next time I order it, I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
So I called him and I said, how much is it if I come pick up a cord? And he's like, it's $250 if you come pick it up, which is good. That's good. A good price for a cord of wood.
Okay.
So I measured my truck bed, height, width, and depth, and I measured my little utility trailer. And I said, listen, I've got a Dodge Ram. I said, the bed's this size. If we go 21 inches deep on the bed, and then if we go 10 inches deep on the trailer, that's a cord. And he did the math, and he was like, yep, that's a cord. And I said, okay. And so now he can't just all of a sudden decide what's a cord.
Right.
So I take it over there, we load it up, and he goes, yeah, y'all just bought half a cord. And I said, no, we bought a full cord, buddy. We only got half a cord. He said, they only brought y'all half a cord? And I was like, yeah. He said, why didn't you call me? And I said, well, I knew I was going to be back, and I was just going to bring it up. He said, yeah, that was just a miscommunication. We don't do business like that. So I called him the other day, and I said, hey, bring me my free half a cord, buddy, because I'm getting low.
Yeah.
So he's going to bring it one day this week.
Well, I put a sheet of plywood against the building so that when they stacked it, it wouldn't. I didn't want them hitting the building, especially since it's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically went height and width 4x8, too deep. I don't know how much that is.
Yeah, that's about a cord.
$400.
Mm-hmm.
Delivered and stacked.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And if it's good wood, it's worth it. To be honest.
Apparently, it's really good because it burns like that.
It's probably dry. It
is dry. Yeah, it is dry.
Yeah, that's part of your problem there too.
Yeah.
Because the green wood, it doesn't burn as hot. It doesn't heat as good, but it lasts a lot longer in the stove.
Yeah. What gets that place the hottest? Poplar.
Yeah, poplar burns good too.
My God. I mean, I throw them scraps in there. Now I had one day came up there and helped me do something. I can't remember what we were doing. Oh, we were cleaning the shop. Now I won't burn ply.
Right.
I'm not putting UV in there, and I'm definitely not putting MDF in there. But any hardwood, I'll throw hardwood in there in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And I burned hardwood poplar cutoffs all day long, and I'm talking about had me sweating with the door open at one point in time. Kim's like, "Oh, it's finally getting toasty in here." I was like, "Toasty? I'm about to die." I mean, good God.
Well, you can go online and look up the BTUs of different wood species.
Oh, really?
Did you know that there was even a thing?
I mean, I figured it had some kind of
Yep.
different wood burns at different, rates.
Yep,
But,
it's got all the wood has a BTU rating,
mm,
and so you can actually look in your area, like know what grows in your area and pick it from the list, and they'll say, well, maple is 165,000 BTUs and poplar is 220,000 BTUs.
yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, some of these guys, man, them Iowa guys, whoo, they are dying right now. Their shops are cold. I saw some guy on the cabinet page today. I didn't read the whole post. Was like asking about temperatures in the shop to paint. He said something about 30 degrees in his shop, and I was like, "It's too cold to work at 30 degrees."
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What are you paint? I ain't painting nothing. I mean,
that might have been the guy that was looking for a way to warm it up to keep it warm.
Might have been, yeah. I was like, "You gonna be shooting ice cubes?"
Do you have a heater in your office?
I do, but it doesn't really keep up. It makes me nervous. It's just a little space heater that was like left there.
Yeah. Get you a porcelain heater.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like super safe. They're not. Yeah, they don't sit there and glow orange like a space heater does. And that's what I have in here. And with your office being that small, dude, you can set it at 50 degrees.
Yeah.
And keep your glue in there or something like that, and not just break the bank trying to keep it super warm. But, glue doesn't freeze that easily, but it is water-based and it will freeze, if it gets cold enough.
Well, keep it off the floor. That's one thing I learned. Don't keep it on the concrete floor. And if you keep it in a cabinet, it will probably, stay out of the weather and hold a temperature a little bit better too. But yeah, my biggest thing is remembering to take caulk and adhesives off the trailer.
Oh yeah,
don't leave them on the trailer over the winter. I mean, that's just not a great idea.
And you got batteries out. Well, I guess batteries will do fine in the cold.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the lithium keeps them.
By the way, the internet people came the other day and I had to put the unistrut on the side of the house for them to mount their fiber box to.
Yeah.
Had their drill, DeWalt brushless drill, sitting on top of my meter can. Bumped it with my elbow right into a giant water. I mean, it was completely underwater. The entire drill. So I reached in there and snatched it out, with my bum foot. I couldn't hardly get over there. I wobble over and get it out. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I was like, zzz. I turned it on, it was slinging water everywhere. I say, it still works.
Yeah, it's a
They're like, shoot, I just buy another one if it tore it up. Stuff happens, And I was like, okay.
Theirs anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't care.
You bought that drill.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm so glad Trey don't treat my stuff that way, buddy.
That's the difference between Trey is probably the exception, but there's a difference between an owner and an employee. Yep. And that's one of them.
Well, and there's a difference in someone who's vested into the company and someone who's not.
Right.
Those guys are probably just there for a paycheck, and they look at the company as being this billion-dollar organization, and they got money. They can deal with it. And in reality, every dollar got to come from somewhere.
It's all cyclic and generated from somewhere. You know. Yeah. It's
what you got coming up this week?
Man, I'm just trying to get the heck out of Dodge. So I figure if I get about 16 hours in the shop tomorrow, I can get all these doors and drawers built. No, I should be okay. But got to get all these built. It's 32 doors, like 18 drawers. Can't remember. And then one nice thing is that all my drawers are the same depth this time.
Oh, that is
usually I have varying depths, so I can just go ham on some. I really wish I had that saw up for some 21-inch cuts.
Ooh, yeah,
because I'm gonna have to drag the miter saw across them. I'll probably actually end up putting these on the table saw and just run them on the sled.
Yeah,
but no, get those done and then install those on Monday. That'll probably pretty much take up all of Monday, and then Tuesday will be shop clean and pack and get the trailer prepped, and then hopefully pull out of town Wednesday. But we're expecting snow tomorrow. So
yeah, y'all got a storm coming up through there.
I've heard anywhere from 1 to 5 inches, and the problem with this area is that we have snow equipment. We just don't have a lot of it. And what happens is we've got enough of it to clear like the main roads.
Yeah.
But like these small towns and all, like the towns don't have any snow equipment because we don't get enough snow to warrant it. So the streets, the inner streets usually don't get hit. And then we'll do that. So we do that cyclic. We get snow, people drive on it, they pack it down. It freezes at night. Now we've got ice. And then the temperature doesn't come up for 2 or 3 days, and we've got ice packed roads. And so we'll see. I don't know. And I don't play with it. Like none of this stuff I got to do is worth me getting hurt or losing a vehicle over. Like if I don't play on the roads. So we'll see. We'll see what it brings.
Well, it's looking pretty good next week for we're gonna have a job installed one day next week, hopefully about middle of the week. But we're gonna go through a cold snap. Looks like Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, it's gonna get down to 17, and then Wednesday night it's gonna be 23. But really no rain. A little bit of rain on Tuesday, but nothing crazy. But yeah, they're talking the top third of the state of Alabama is going to get possibly, James Spann said possibly 2 to 4 inches up there.
Well, if there's somebody who knows, it's James Spann.
Yeah. He's the main weatherman.
James main weatherman. I'm about a week behind on Rick and Bubba. I haven't listened to.
Yeah, I just quit listening to them they're over Christmas because there's only so many best ofs I can deal with.
Right.
And then I don't even want to bring it up.
What?
Road Tide.
Hey, we got a new coach.
Road Tide.
We got a new coach. So.
But anyway, so what the Rick and Bubba show is going to be about.
Yeah.
Over the next 2 or 3 days is saving this, saving that, and Dubos, Debias, this and that.
Yeah.
Who's he bringing and who's this? Let me tell you guys something, okay? And just shut up and listen to me. You didn't know who the next coach was. You had no idea. You didn't know Saban was retiring, and you had no idea who the next coach is. Stop putting breaking news. Ronald McDonald's going to be the next coach at Alabama. You don't know who it is. And the reality was they knew who it was 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I read somebody tried to post, which I'm not a big reposter, but somebody tried to repost it was had a religious spin to it, but it was like, Nick Saban's been replaced in less than 24 hours. Nobody's irreplaceable. And I was like, well, yes, but let's get this back in context. Nick Saban wasn't replaced in less than 24 hours. You think Nick just walked in on Monday morning and said, hey, guys, guess what? I've decided to retire.
That's the same thing I told Tammy today.
No, this has been in the works. They knew, the upper echelon of the university knew, like, he just wouldn't do that. Like, he just.
Do you guys realize how many millions of dollars we're talking every year for Nick Saban? For him just to walk in there Wednesday morning, be like, good morning, coach. Morning. Hey, yeah, listen, I'm retiring today.
Yeah.
So, good luck finding somebody. Come on, guys. Let's get real.
But think about this, and I know you're not a huge football guy, but when was the last time you heard of a football coach, a college football coach retiring?
It's been
not getting fired.
Right.
And not being able to find another job. But I'm going to resign on my own.
Yeah. Kudos to the new coach, because let's say I was a football coach and the AD from Alabama, University of Alabama, calls me and says, hey, Mitch, we're thinking about hiring you. No, sir. Nope. Y'all have a good day. I appreciate the invitation. I'm going to stay right where I'm at. You got to follow that.
Yeah.
Do you realize what kind of a ridiculous standard you're going to be held to? Because I'm an Alabama fan, but Alabama fans are not going to sit there and go, well, he's going to take him a few years to get everything straight and no, we're looking for a championship next year. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if I would have taken it, man.
Have you seen this cat's win-loss record, though?
Yeah. He's as good as what is it, like?
He's got
117 to 12 or something.
Yeah. It's crazy, but There was just a couple of names being thrown out there. I was like, I might have to resign my Alabama membership if you bring these guys in. But there was one or two that I was like, there was one. Lane Kiffin was one being thrown around, and I was like, I like Lane Kiffin a lot because he says what is on his mind. He doesn't play the political game so much. I was like, but I don't know that the donors are going to be in line with his Rudy Poo tail coming in here.
And if you can read between the lines, that's exactly why Saban retired. I mean, NIL and transfer portals and stuff, and he's just like, you know what? If I can't go during the summer and recruit these guys, and they're going to stay here 4 years and go to college.
Yeah,
anybody's got as much of a chance as another guy,
Well, and he's got oodles of money. It's like, hey, let me go see if I can spend some of this. Like, I'm 70. I don't remember how old he is, 70 something. But I'd be like, I want to go. There's other things to life besides this.
Yep.
I mean, but he said, one of the interviews. I don't know if you heard. He's like, I'm just not able to do. It kind of goes back to like the very beginning thing that we talked about, the right thing. He's like, I'm not able to do what I feel like is the right way to do it anymore. I'm getting old. He's like, I can't run with these guys till 2:00 in the morning and then be back up at 5 or 6, like I could. And he's like, if I can't do it the way I think it's supposed to be done, then I'm not going to participate.
Yep. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, But we'll see. Who knows what the future.
The oatmeal cream pie. Yeah. Start my morning with 2 little Debbies.
Yeah. Well, anyway, get back on track. Next week, we're gonna be hitting it hard and heavy, assembling cabinets. We're gonna have those knocked out. I feel like we can build them all in a day.
Oh, nice.
Have them painted and go set them. We're not gonna. The doors are here, but I'm not gonna hold this guy up anymore. This builder, I mean, he's been patient with me through the foot surgery.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go set naked boxes, and it's not a big job, pretty small job. And then I went and measured one the other day.
Nice.
And it's a standard small job. And when I say small, we're talking 13 to 17 boxes, something like that. Whole house, but they don't want nothing stupid.
Gotcha.
Then the next house after that, he said was going to be about the same. But then he said the house after that is going to be the biggest job you've ever done.
Oh, nice.
I didn't say all nice. I was in my mind. I was like, golly. So builder number 2, we hadn't heard anything about builder number 2 in a while.
Oh.
Let's talk about old builder number 2.
Uh-oh.
What we had, John and Frank or something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, my lovely bride asked me before the beginning of December. Says, hey, you heard anything out of old Frank lately? And I said, I ain't heard a word. She said, well, what do you think's going on? I said, I don't know. Were you going to call him? I said, no, I'm not going to call him. Why not? And I said, well, I'm a grown man and he's a grown man. If he wants me to build cabinets for him, he'll call. I don't know. It's around the holidays. Maybe he slowed down. Yeah. Who knows what's going on? This is not a guy that's going to call you and be like, hey, just letting you know, we're kind of waiting on some stuff to get done. And, but I'll call you in a month or something. No. Now I knew he said he was going to have a little bit of a gap.
Okay.
I thought that gap was going to be like 2 or 3 weeks. Turns out it's like 2.5 months. And so anyway, the other day, phone rings. And I said, oh, look, it's old Frank. So I picked up the phone. I said, hello. He goes, hey, man, how's it going? I said, going good, man. I said, I'm on my way to, no, I didn't say that yet. I said, it's going really good, man. I said, dude, picked up another builder, man. He's got me wide open, and this and that. And he was like, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah, man, shoot. We rocking and rolling over here, dude. I got him stacked up. And then he kind of figured out I was yanking his leg,
Yeah.
So he kind of started doing that little nervous laugh. He's like, yeah, I hear you.
Thought I screwed there for a second.
Yeah. And then I was like, did I make you mad or something? And he got laughing. He's like, no. He said, we had a little bit, ran into a little bit of trouble trying to get this one ready for, cabinets. He said, but what are you doing right now? And I said, well, I'm going to measure a job. He said, well, don't measure too many of them, man, because I got this one and then another one right behind it. So I got one builder telling me he's got like 4 in a row, and then all of a sudden Frank pops back up. And he says, I got 2 in a row, and I was like, here we go. So I told Trey, I said, good news is we got plenty of work coming down the pipe. Bad news is we got plenty of work coming down the pipe. So.
Yeah. the pipe is short, though. They're gonna all want it at the same time.
And I said, how big old job is this going to be? And he's like, well, it was kind of like this house, but it's a little bit different. And this house was, y'all remember a few jobs back, we did that huge house with the 2 kitchens and yeah, it's that house.
Oh, okay.
But he said it's a little bit different. And I'm thinking, oh boy, man, we're going to get slammed with those 2 jobs back to back, those 2 huge jobs. I bet you.
You're going to have to buy a CNC for long.
And that's about the same time you're going to be here. It's going to be sometime next month. So good luck. You ain't going back to Tennessee. Give me one more day, Travis. One more day.
Derek asked me yesterday, said, so when do you think you're going to be back? I was like, back? I was like, what the hell? He's like, no pressure. I was like, back? I can't even get gone. Like, what are you talking about? I said, 4 to 6. I said, I'm saying 4 to 6 weeks. He's like,
yeah. Yeah, he's going to be counted down too, buddy. Yeah. I guarantee he's going to be counted down.
Oh, I'm going to be counted down too. I'm going to watch them little greenbacks running out the door.
Yeah, and just wait till you hear the shop rate, for coming and using my shop. I mean, it's going to sting a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, but, you got to separate business from friendship. You told me that.
To Mama B, so that's fine.
You told me that you got to separate business from friendships,
Yes, I did. Make Trey eat outside.
Doc Trey's pay a little bit so I can help you out. but yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming down. The next, you guys that like to follow along, the next couple of jobs are just going to be, kind of just average houses. These people are smart. They're older. They've got kids. One of them's got grown kids are grown and they got grandbabies, and they're like, we're just not into spending every single penny that we can to build a house, which I respect that a lot.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, because, some people like to be at the very tip top of what they could ever possibly afford on the best day.
They like to buy bougie houses.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. Anyway, that's
fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good. I'm happy with the way things are going. I think I hope everybody liked the new intro for the YouTubers. Like the new intro for the new setup. I think we've had a little bit of mixed review on the commercials. We'll see what happens. I mean, I like the break format for us. I think it's a little bit easier on our side to kind of break into segments. It's a little bit easy. It's a little bit more work on the editing, but not crazy work. But I think everything's going in the right direction, and I got a couple of ideas. If I can just get a few extra moments, got like a T-shirt idea. We're floating, trying to figure out how to do, what to do with that. I think we're going to set that up. We'll get that going. I think we're just going to set that up on on a link, and people can just directly order those, and we won't have any stock. Like, it won't be on us. You won't be waiting on me to ship it to you, because those of you who are waiting on hats, you'll wait on it for 6 to 8 years.
Yeah. And so you kind of ran through that really quick, but we could possibly be coming up with a shirt that you can order, that you can pre-order, or you can order online and have it shipped to you. So keep an eye out for that. There's no telling what this year is going to bring.
It's going to bring something. We're going to do something with this. Either we're going to do something with this, or we're going to crash it. I mean, one of the two. I mean, we're going to either run this thing slap into a wall, or we're going to get it off the runway. I don't know.
That's right. Yep.
But we trying to buzz the tower.
That's it.
I'm trying to get as many Top Gun references in there as I possibly can, and it's a stretch. I'm working real hard. It's late, but
it is late. I got chili waiting on me.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But well, I think that's as good of a time as any to start wrap it up.
Yeah, and you're coming down this soon, not this week, but soon. So we'll have some stories from that. Yeah,
and I'll probably have about a week once I get down there. Maybe a little bit longer than that before I'm actually ready to come build. But we'll get some prep work done. I got to kind of get some things so that like when some of my help arrives, they got stuff to do, like that kind of thing. But it's
But just
going to be
keep in mind, you couldn't be
tornado.
doing it. You couldn't do this for a better person. Just keep that in mind.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, yeah, she is a good lady.
That's my second mama.
She's endured a lot to get this done. I can tell you that. She is very ready. She is very, very ready.
When was all this started? It was a long time ago.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Semi-state of construction for 3 years. Yeah.
That man said 3 years like it was 3 days ago.
Because I have lost sleep continuously for 3 years, like trying to figure out how to get this thing finished. Like it's yeah. She's been extremely patient, but what's funny is I was telling somebody yesterday, she has been extremely patient, but now she's still patient, but also when you coming.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But not for the reason that a lot of people think it would be. It's mostly to make sure the groceries are prepared.
I was going to say, see the grandbabies.
Always the biggest concern. I just want to make sure you got what you want to eat. What do you need?
What you're saying is I may need to come down there and help you one day so I can eat good too.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
The only fried chicken I will eat comes from
Really?
her. Yeah.
Okay.
I do not like fried chicken, actually. I do not like it. Unless she fries it.
All right, then.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some interesting times. Stick with us. We'll see how it goes.
And this one was pretty much all cabinet related, so
yeah. But I'm just trying. And I'm just going to try to move forward from here and just take this week's lesson and just to try to apply it to as many things as possible. Just slow down and try to do the right thing first. And you're going to have bumps in the road where you got to come up with a workaround. That's easy. That's easy. But when you see the blatant problem, just take the time. Take the time to fix it now. You got a flat tire, put air in it, and then go get it fixed. Don't keep putting air in it every stinking day, because then you're going to have an emergency where you need to get to the hospital, and you walk out and you go, oh, well, I got to put air in my tire first before I get to the ER.
Yeah. And your leg's going to be broke or something. Yeah. You can't do it. And
you're like, well, if I'd have got this tire fixed 3 days ago, I wouldn't have this problem. There's so many scenarios where you can apply that to. Like, you've got a minor inconvenience right now, and you might have to Band-Aid it, to get. But don't just keep putting off fixing a problem. Like, just take it on. It's not as hard of a problem as it seems like if you take it on now. It's like waiting on I hear I do it with my daughter all the time. The car is making a funny noise. Oh, well, I was going to say something. Well, now it's 3 other things. Whereas it was just one, but now we've waited. Now that thing has thrown off this thing. Or like an injury, you hurt your leg and you hobble around on it. Well, guess what? Now you got a stress fracture in the other foot because you've been hobbling on the other foot for so long, trying to just get by, and you've created another injury.
Yep. Just take the time and fix it. And I guarantee you're going to come out better on the other end, 100% of the time.
Very seldom is a shortcut. Very seldom. Well, we appreciate everybody coming in and listening to us ramble on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And
hope y'all learned something.
Yeah.
Always something to learn.
Yeah, you've learned what a VFD is. Still don't remember what it is. Variable feed display.
Frequency drive.
Okay. We'll get that. All right. So we'll stay tuned for that journey, because I'm sure I'll probably electrocute myself or something during that whole process.
You need to hire somebody to come look at. I can tell you right now, buddy. You mix in single phase and 3-phase and variable frequencies and start circuits. You just need to pay somebody $100 to come put the thing in and be done with it.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with it. I don't know. I get nervous unplugging a 220 plug from a wall.
Look, and don't open that some gun up and look at the guts on the inside. Just don't even. Don't even look. Just pretend there's a magic man in there that does stuff, and that's all you know. Because if you open it up,
Mickey Mouse in there waving his wand.
Because if you open that sucker up and see what's on the inside, you're gonna be like, ain't no way this is gonna work.
See, now I'm gonna think it's just Fantasia, the movie inside of there the whole time. I got the saw running. He's just in there, just making magic happen. You know?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, stay tuned. Thanks everybody for coming in. Hey, go chase a dream. See what you can do to make that next step. Don't hesitate on it. Or take.
That's right. It's still January, so you still got time.
Yeah, and quit telling people Happy New Year. It's done.
Done with that.
We're done with that. Yeah, everybody's in their year. It's been 2 weeks. You missed your boat.
All right, I'm fixing to go eat some chili.
All right. Thanks everybody. We'll see y'all later.
See y'all on the next one.